I'm meteorologist Gary Canolti with a severe weather warning. We now have a tornado warning in effect until 7:45 for the southern portions of Greene and parts of Rock County, the western portion of Rock County. So this is areas from Monroe, about as far north as almost the Dane County line, about as far northeast as Evansville, and about as far east as Footville. This includes Brodhead, includes the eastern portion of Greene County. If you are in this area, you need to take cover immediately. Tornado warning in effect until 7:45. This is for storms that actually have been developing across northwestern Illinois. In fact, if we put the radar into motion here, you'll see that these storms have been heading to the northeast pretty rapidly at about 45 to 50 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit faster than that. So we put the radar into motion here, and you can see how rapidly these storms are moving. There have been tornado warnings south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Now those storms are moving toward Monroe. So if you're in Monroe, anywhere along and south of Highway 11, need to take cover immediately. If you're north of Highway 11, I would probably move to a safe place immediately too, because of the fact that these storms are moving very rapidly at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. At the very least, they're bringing the potential for strong straight line winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and it could also bring the possibility for a tornado. So let's take a look and see what this whole situation is. So the area that we're watching is right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, just about where Highway 69 crosses over into northern Illinois. That storm moving to the northeast very rapidly at about 50 miles per hour. So that brings it to Brodhead by just before 7:30. Right now we're at 7:13. So in about 10 minutes to Brodhead, and then eventually up toward Evansville. So you can see how rapidly this storm is moving. So again, if you are in this tornado warning area, which is the eastern portion of Greene County, the western portion of Rock County, west of Footville, you need to get to a safe place immediately. These storms continue to race toward the north and east. We're looking at Doppler radar right now. Any rotation is going to be right along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, right around Highway 69. However, these brighter greens are with a line of storms out to the west, and that brings the possibility for strong straight line winds as well. Looking at the tornado debris indicator, right now we're not seeing any debris lofted in the air. That's good, because these storms have had a history of producing quite a bit of extensive damage over parts of Iowa as those storms have headed toward the north and east. And right now we're seeing these little areas where there has been some rotation. For the most part, they have been concentrated more down to the south across parts of northern Illinois. And you can see how this line now is racing toward the northeast, maybe as much as 60 to 70 miles per hour. So again, we're going to see some very strong straight line winds at the very least, and the possibility, especially in the northern portion of this line of thunderstorms, that you could see rotation. It's very similar to what happened in the Platteville tornado back in, I think it was 2013. Line of storms, the northern portion of the line of storms produced the tornado in Platteville and also in Verona. So this line of storms, again, heading to the northeast, straight line winds, and also the potential for a tornado to spin up in there. 3-hour future track radar shows how rapidly these storms are heading through. So as you head into 8:30, 9 o'clock, these storms are already moving out of southern Wisconsin. That's the good news. In fact, the tornado watch is already being canceled for parts of eastern Iowa and parts of northwestern Illinois as the severe weather threat has headed off toward the north and east. We continue to watch strong to occasionally severe thunderstorms over parts of Greene, southern Dane and southwestern Dane County, and northern and southern portions of Iowa County, where severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15 for Greene, Iowa, Lafayette, and Rock County. Again, the possibility exists that a tornado could also spin up in that area. But right now, the area that we're watching, and again, this is that other severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15 for the southern portion, southwestern portion of Dane County, south and west of Verona, and then the northern portion of Iowa County. But this is the area most at risk right now. Tornado warning in effect until 7:45. This includes the southeastern portion of Greene County. So east of Highway 69, Monroe, you're in the warning area, all the way toward Brodhead, Spring Grove, as far east as Evansville, as far east as Footville into Rock County. And that means that areas to the north and east, perhaps the far southeastern portion of Dane County, northern portions of Rock County, maybe as far east as Janesville, could eventually be at risk from this area of storms. Let's do a quick storm track on this here. and we're going to see where this, I'm going to update this here just to give you a little better idea, at least as the timing on this. We are continuing to watch this area, and the area that is probably most likely to be producing a tornado right now appears to be down toward the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. At this point, it looks like it would be just to the southwest of Spring Grove. Let's take care of that there. We'll redraw this. Oh, for some reason the graphic has gone away here. It'll take just a second to update. But again, this area, I'm thinking just east of Highway 69, right in the southern portion of Greene County. That's the area that's probably most at risk from a tornado. And let's try this again here, and we'll draw this this cone. Again, with the storm moving at about 50 to maybe 60 miles per hour, you can see how quickly it'll be moving through. Brodhead, again, just before 7:30. Evansville now, maybe about 7:40. So again, because of the fast movement of this line of storms, the tornado threat could be in your area a little bit faster. This is the area that's probably most at risk, the eastern portion of Greene County and the western portion of Rock County. Looking at radar velocity right now, it looks like there's a little bit of rotation right down here. And again, that would be just to the southwest of Spring Grove. Let's do a quick check on this and on how far. So you're talking probably about 8 miles to the southwest of Spring Grove. If there is a tornado, that's the area that is most likely to be producing it. But there also are pockets that could be producing strong straight line winds. And if we look at the wind rotation, right now it's not terribly strong, at least the rotation itself, but we are looking at some very high wind speeds. The possibility exists that we are seeing at least some rotation there. So if we look at these numbers here, they're not too impressive from a rotation standpoint. What we look at gate to gate, sure, that gives us a little bit of an indication as to the rotation, but we're also seeing winds of 39 miles per hour blowing toward the radar, which is in the National Weather Service office in Sullivan, and then these winds are blowing much more slowly. So there is at least some very small rotation there, and because of the distance from the radar, we're probably looking at the storm about maybe 5,000 to 6,000 feet off the ground. So it's in an area where it's a little harder for the radar to kind of detect what's going on down near the base of the storm. But at the very least, we have seen the rotation. We are seeing some strong straight line winds. And looking at the tornado debris indicator, what we're looking for is any blues that might show up on the lower end here. That's an indication that debris is being lofted in the air. These colors all indicate that the return to the radar is pretty much the same. Probably raindrops, maybe a little bit of hail mixed in there. But when we start seeing the blues showing up, as we were in parts of Iowa earlier, that's when you really have a good confirmation that tornado debris is being lifted in the air. Fortunately, not right now. It doesn't appear that way. Maybe a little bit, this lighter color here, an indication that there might be something starting to come in there. But again, we'll keep an eye on that. We're not seeing a lot of consistent rotation. We're seeing these pockets of rotation. This is our storm shear track that shows us where the rotations are. And if you see that all kind of along the same line, you have a much better confirmation that you have more of a tornado situation. But again, this line of storms is moving northeastward, east-northeastward really rapidly. Now it extends from right around Lone Rock to just to the west of Madison, right around Mount Horeb. So these storms are already starting to move through Iowa County. They'll eventually be moving through Dane County pretty quickly and through Greene County. So the severe weather threat is lessening very rapidly west of Lafayette and Greene County. So over toward Platteville, south and west of Lone Rock, the severe weather threat has ended. The severe weather threat is highest in this area. And the other thing that we look at too is the instability of the atmosphere, and that's because we've had a front that has kind of dropped across the area and shifted our winds a little bit. Notice the temperatures. This is our radar loop over the last 3 hours, and you can see that the temperatures in the northern portions of the viewing area have dropped into the 30s. So the severe weather threat is pretty much gone there. But to the south, Janesville still in the 60s, Monroe near 60 degrees. There's enough instability in the atmosphere that the tornado threat will probably still stay fairly high into Rock County, maybe southern portions of Jefferson County, but that will be mainly within about the next hour or two, because this fast-moving line of storms heading to the north and east will probably eventually just kind of shift the winds around and start to allow the colder air to the west to start moving in. So that's at least a good sign over southwestern Wisconsin that the severe weather threat is ending. But again, Rock County Jefferson County, eastern portions of Greene County, southeastern Dane County. That's where at least the tornado and perhaps the severe thunderstorm threat is still a little bit higher. So let's go back and recap the warnings that we have in effect right now. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. This is for Greene, and I'm going to update this so that we can actually flash the area, and you'll be able to see a little bit better where the warning itself is. So that is this area right here, and this is a pretty large severe thunderstorm warning. It now covers the southern portion of Dane County as well as Greene, and it looks like Iowa and Lafayette County. So the far northeastern portion of Lafayette County, all of Greene County, southeastern portions of Iowa County, east of Dodgeville, and then the southern portion of Dane County. So that basically from Madison southward, now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:15. Again, for straight line winds to 60 miles per hour. But the possibility that this line could eventually develop at least into a situation where there could be a tornado that spins up. So I'm just going to, you can see, and that actually now looks like Rock County is being included in that as well. So let me just recenter the map here, and this way you'll get a little better idea. The National Weather Service is putting this warning out for such a large area because of the fast movement of these thunderstorms. So again, this is the area that's still most at risk from severe weather. The tornado threat is highest right here. This is over the eastern portion of Greene County, the far western portions of Rock County, west of Janesville, west of Footville, but the severe thunderstorm threat extends about as far north as Madison. So if you are obviously in the tornado warning area, you need to take cover immediately. Anywhere in the severe thunderstorm warning area, though, you should be prepared for straight line winds to 60 to 70 miles per hour and the possibility that a tornado can develop very rapidly. So this is a situation where you might, especially if it's going to take you some time to get to a safe area, or maybe you're going to get ready to go home. Maybe you wait until after the storms pass, because they're going to be moving through your area pretty quickly. Once the line of storms moves through, then the severe weather threat pretty much has come to an end. So that's the good news. That's been updated here. Again, the tornado warning area, that is this area right here: Broadhead, Spring Grove, Footville, anywhere along Highway 213, actually as far east now as Highway 213, you should be in a safe area immediately. In fact, let's go and take a quick peek at some of the tornado safety rules. If you are at home, you need to get to the center part of your basement. That's the best place to be. Put as many walls as possible between you and the outside. If you don't have a basement, again, the interior rooms or closet on the lowest floor. If you're in a basement, the center part of your basement is the best place to go. If you have some pillows, cushions, blankets, get those over to you right now. So if you're a little ways away from the storms, get that stuff there. And obviously mobile homes, not good, not only in tornadoes, but also in strong straight line winds. So you need to make sure that you get to a safe place immediately. So let's take a look and recap things here. Severe thunderstorm warning for southern Dane County, Rock County, Greene County, far eastern portions of Iowa and Lafayette counties until 8:15. We have this severe thunderstorm warning will be expiring soon, and then we have the tornado warning. This is the area that right now we're most concerned about. But you can see when we came on the air, those storms were down near the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Look where they are now. They're near Broadhead. They're near Spring Grove. And if we take a look at the wind velocity here, we'll see whether or not we're looking at the potential anyway for any kind of rotation where a tornado might be. This area right here, a little suspicious, and maybe over here as well. So this is, again, just northeast of Monroe, just to the east and just to the east of Monroe and to the west and northwest of Spring Grove. These areas would be the areas, if I had to venture a guess, that would be most likely to produce a tornado. That would be this area right over here and perhaps this area right over here. But anywhere along, and these bright colors are just strong winds that, with the rain coming down, will actually pull those winds down near the ground. So straight line winds certainly going to continue across parts of eastern Greene County, the western portions of Rock County. That'll be heading up toward Evansville, maybe eastward toward Footville, and certainly through Broadhead over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So we're staying on the air here with the tornado warning. Just looking at the National Weather Service, they're looking at the area of rotation southwest of Broadhead. That's this area right here. So that's their concern right there. Let's take a I'm going to zoom in on that area just a little bit, and we'll take a look and see, because the winds, again, at the very least, those winds are starting to increase, and that would be this area right over here. So between Sylvester and Spring Grove, right along Highway 11. So this storm is racing to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So Brodhead, if you're in Brodhead, you need to be in a safe place. But Evansville, Magnolia, you are right in line with the storm. It will be in your area within about 10 to 15 minutes. Just looking at, okay, and looks like a new tornado warning is coming up. This is for Rock County. So let's go back here to our radar, and we will take a look and see where this new tornado warning is. This warning looks like it is in effect until 8:15, and this is going to be for Janesville, Beloit. You are in this area, the tornado warning area here. Let me make sure that we have this. I want to be able to cycle through these warnings as we have new information coming in. But right now, this new tornado warning in effect until 8:15. It does include areas east of that other warning. So Janesville, you are now in the tornado warning. Newark, Beloit, as far east as Clinton, Milton, you're on the northeastern portion of that warning. Anywhere in that area, take cover immediately, because you can see this storm is moving very rapidly to the northeast. We watched it as it moved through parts of Greene County, and now is another cell that's coming out of northern Illinois, actually, is going to be moving into the far southwestern portion of Rock County around Newark, and then basically head almost right toward Janesville. If we looked to the south and west to see what's upstream, again, this is part of that same line of storm. So this is the cell that moved basically from northwestern Illinois into southern Greene County. Now we're watching this part of the line of storms moving out of northern Illinois, and it'll be moving into the southern portion of Rock County. That tornado warning in effect until 8:15. Hopefully this will blow through pretty quickly, but we have to watch out for the potential, at least, for strong straight line winds. We'll take a look here at the wind velocities, and just getting something here from Julian Seawright. Power outages from Alliant Energy, 455 customers in Iowa County, 185 in Grant County. There was a report of winds gusting into about 65 miles an hour around Platteville. Also around the Scenic Rivers area, east of Platteville, that's where some of the power outages have been. So thank you, Julian. We've got Julian Seawright here. We also have Alex Harrington, both meteorologists, helping us out with the severe weather coverage, also on social media and also on channel3000.com. So let's go ahead and take a look at the latest warnings. Again, tornado warning for the southern and eastern portion of Rock County. So we actually have two tornado warnings here. This one for Greene County and the western portion of Rock County. This one for Janesville and central and eastern portions of Rock County. These warnings in effect until 8:15 for a possible tornado, or at the very least some strong straight line winds that are now moving through Brodhead, heading over toward Evansville, and then eventually up toward Janesville, Beloit, probably within about the next 20 minutes or so. If we do a quick storm track on this, and we look at how fast this line of storms is moving, if we move it at about 60 miles an hour, that line of storms basically will be moving through the Janesville and Beloit areas very, very rapidly. We've seen this line of storms as it's moved out of Iowa, move through, well, let's see, for some reason it does not want to update here. Let's try this again one more time. But this line of storms from around Evansville, heading to the northeast, and well, for whatever reason that doesn't want to really update, but let's try this here. We'll do a different type of a storm track, just to give you an idea, and just looking at some of the information from the National Weather Service. They're still watching the rotation between Albany and Brodhead. That is from that cell is moving through the eastern portion of Greene County. And so let's just move down to where that cell is, and that's right around here. We're going to take a look at the wind velocity, and yeah, right here, just to the northwest of Brodhead. So again, Brodhead, you need to be in a safe area immediately. Evansville, you're immediately upstream. You should go to a safe place immediately. Footville, again, what happens a lot of times is these storms head to the northeast. They build along the line farther to the south. So the tornado threat, again, pretty high as you move into the southern portion of Rock County. That threat drops off pretty significantly as you head into Dane County, although some strong straight line winds certainly are likely there. But this area of rotation, it's a broad rotation, but also has some strong straight line winds just to the northwest of Broadhead. We'll be heading up toward Highway 213. Here's U.S. Highway 14. So if you're south and west of U.S. Highway 14, you need to be in a safe area immediately. Northeast of Highway 14, you've got a little more time, but those storms are continuing to head in your direction. So let's come back here, look at the radar, and we'll widen this out just a little bit here. Tornado warning right now for the eastern and central portions of Rock County until 8:15. Tornado warning until 7:45 for eastern Greene County and the western portion of Rock County. But this line of storms continues to head off. This is 7:31, so we continue to watch this line of storms. And I'm just going to see if there have been any later severe weather reports. I'm just going to widen out here. You can see a number just right along that line of storms. These are all tornado warnings across parts of northern Illinois and then into far south central Wisconsin. These are severe thunderstorm warnings farther to the north, again, for that line of storms. But if we look at the severe weather reports so far, this is just for today, and you will see a number of them as this area of storms. And of course, we're not getting up-to-date reports right now because the storms are coming through. But these are the same cells that came out of Iowa with a number of tornado reports, a number of significant damage reports, and then those storms weakened a little bit as they moved into southern Wisconsin, but are still producing strong straight line winds, and then also into parts of northern Illinois. If we look at some of the severe weather reports, again, down toward the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Stockton, Illinois, 51-mile-an-hour winds. These are very typical, 50 to 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts that we have been seeing from this line of storms as it has moved out of Iowa and into Illinois. So this is still a pretty serious situation because of the fact that this line of storms now is accelerating toward the north and east. So two things, that means the wind damage potential is increasing even if the tornado threat is not there. And then the fast movement of the storms means that they're going to be on top of you very quickly. So I'm going to save this here and let's put the radar into motion here. We'll go back and take a look here. It's just so you can get an idea how quickly these storms are moving, because they are really moving along pretty quickly. I'm going to look at the radar loop here, because this will give you a little better idea of where they are now and where they're headed. So the first batch of storms moved through with a little bit of hail. Now it's this intense line of storms from just west of Madison down to just west of Janesville, racing to the northeast, I would say probably about 65 to 70 miles per hour. So that means these storms are already moving out of Greene County and into just west of Janesville and Rock County, and then southeastern portions of Dane County, and eventually up into maybe southern portions of Dodge County, Jefferson County. You could be in line for this area of storms. And so Alex Harrington has information here. Their sirens are going in Janesville. Obviously, that would be the case. They would be sounding the sirens because of the fact that that area is under a tornado warning. So let's recap the warnings that we have currently in effect, and there are a number of them. Tornado warning for the eastern portion of Rock County. That is in effect until 8:15, so that's the flashing area there. We have a tornado warning in effect for the western portion of Rock County, eastern Greene County. That warning in effect until 7:45. Farther to the north, we have severe thunderstorm warnings with the possibility that these storms could produce a tornado. And actually, it looks like the Weather Service has just kind of consolidated that into one big warning for areas that are outside of the areas for tornado warnings. So basically, the southern half of Dane County, the rest of Greene and Rock counties that are not under the tornado warning. Now looks like it extends into Jefferson County, at least the western portion of Jefferson County. That severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:15 for straight line winds to 60 miles per hour. Hail, not so much of a threat, but also the potential that these storms could spin up a tornado, as we have seen near and south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. But now those cells are moving into parts of southern Wisconsin. If we put the radar loop into motion here, you can see, again, just a very fast northeastward movement. So Beloit, Janesville, these storms are just on your western doorstep. Fort Atkinson, you're going to be in line. Milton, areas of northwestern portions of Walworth County. And it looks like we have a new tornado warning coming up. And we'll go to this. This looks like it's going to be for parts of Dane County and northern Rock County. So let's put this here. And this is a tornado warning. This is in effect until 8:15. So this is for the southeastern portion of Dane County, as well as western Jefferson County, northwestern portions of Rock County until 8:15. So this kind of extends that tornado warning from Evansville through Stoughton, Edgerton, almost as far north as McFarland. Cottage Grove is on the northern edge. The western or the northern portion of this goes into Jefferson County, south of Lake Mills, about as far east as Fort Atkinson. So if you're west of Fort Atkinson, across parts of Walworth County and Rock County and Dane County, those areas are under a tornado warning until 8:15. So you need to move to a safe place immediately. Again, we're on the air here with continuous coverage because of 3 tornado warnings now that are in effect for parts of south central and southeastern Wisconsin. Latest warning, tornado warning in effect until 8:15, southeastern Dane, parts of western Jefferson and northern Rock County. So that tornado warning in effect there until 8:15. To the south, there is another tornado warning. This one is for parts of Rock County. That would be this area right here. So let's add this to our list. Tornado warning. This is for central and eastern portions of Rock County, including Janesville, including Beloit, and as far north as Milton. That tornado warning also in effect until 8:15. And then farther to the west, there is another tornado warning. This one runs until 7:45, so only for a few more minutes. And this would be for, I'm not even going to put it up there, but it's actually for the western portion of Rock County and into parts of eastern Greene County. But those storms now have almost moved out of Greene County, and at least the Greene County part of the warning will probably be allowed to expire. Alex Harrington, or Julian Seawright's handing me something. North of Beloit, traffic concerns, I-39 is possible rotation there. So that's what they're seeing. And can we pop this in the monitor? Okay, so this is the DOT camera, I-3990, and you can see quite a bit of lightning there. The camera shaking, the strong winds. So this looks like it's County Highway S. So this would be near the Chopir Road exit there. So again, this is we're seeing those storms moving on through. So let's go back to the graphics here. So that would be, let's see, here's I-3990. So that would be right around here. So Highway S and Chopir, that's the exit north of I-43 and Wisconsin 81. So that's right in this area here. And again, these storms are moving so rapidly. You can see it almost looks like it's out of the rain area. It's actually the radar. When it updates, you'll see that precipitation jump because the radar updates every couple minutes, and the storms are just moving so quickly. So again, Janesville, if you're in Janesville, you need to be in a safe place. Same thing with Milton, and then up to the north into parts of, southeastern Dane County, around Edgerton, around Stoughton. You are also in a tornado warning. So again, this is a pretty serious situation just because of the fact that this line of storms is really racing toward the north and east. And you see the radar just updated, and here's the precipitation already now moving on 3990. But the main line of storms from just southwest of Madison, right around Verona, over toward Belleville, Brooklyn, and then into central portions of Rock County. So from Evansville to just west of Janesville, just east of Broadhead, over toward Beloit and Newark, that line of storms racing toward the north and east. So this tornado warning probably will be allowed to expire. That runs until 7:45. But this warning, which is for southeastern Dane County, northern Rock County, southwestern Jefferson County, and this warning, which is for central and eastern portions of Rock County, those tornado warnings run until 8:15. So again, I'm going to do just a really quick storm track on this, just so we can get an idea of how quickly those storms are moving through. And let me just do this here. This will probably be the easiest way to do it. And I'll widen out the view just to kind of give you an idea of how quickly these storms are moving and who might be upstream from the storms. So this is, and again, this is moving at about, let's say 60 miles an hour, almost 60 miles an hour. So Janesville, you're going to be in line for these storms almost now. Edgerton, 745, Milton, 747. So you can see just if you are along or north and east of I-3990, that's the area right now that is most at risk. But even back into southern portions of Dane County around Oregon, at least a straight line wind potential there, tornado potential probably higher along this line of storms, and then maybe even into the far southeastern portions of Dane County up around Stoughton and Edgerton, but certainly as far south as Beloit, into eventually Walworth County over toward Delavan, and then Fort Atkinson and up toward almost Johnson Creek within about the next half hour or so. You can see Johnson Creek, you're in line for these storms by about 8:07. The warning for it does not include Johnson Creek, but it runs until 8:15 for the western and southwestern portions of Jefferson County. So this gives you an idea of just how quickly these storms are rolling on through. If we look at the wind velocity here, let's see if we can see any wind rotation. Again, this is that cell that moved just to the northwest of Broadhead, now approaching Evansville. That's Highway 14, so where it makes the bend here, that's Evansville. That would take it maybe into the southeastern portion of Dane County, Albion, west of Edgerton. You should be in a safe place immediately. Don't see as much rotation around Janesville and areas to the west. There might be little pockets of in there, but most of this is just strong straight line winds moving through Janesville, moving through Beloit. We showed that DOT camera earlier, the camera shaking, so that gives us good confirmation that the strong winds are there. But the tornado threat, sometimes you get a little bit of a spin up on the northern end of the line, and that's kind of what we've been watching up around Evansville. So if we had to place a marker where a possible tornado would be, it would be somewhere right around here, right around Evansville itself, that area right there. Where we're seeing at least a bit of rotation there, but it's also behind the main line of storms. So that would make it, you'd have the rain and wind come through, and then maybe a little bit of a break, and then all of a sudden, if there is a tornado, that would be the area that could see a tornado spin up. And again, this is very similar to the situation what happened in Stoughton last year in, I think it was March, the Platteville tornado back in 2013, the Verona tornado in 2013. It was a spin up on the northern end of a line of strong thunderstorms that brought straight line winds, but on the northern part of the line of storms, you had a spin up, and that's what produced a tornado. And usually they don't last very long. They're very hard to warn for because the tornado usually doesn't last that long. So let's go back to the radar loop here, and you can see now these storms blowing through Janesville, blowing through Beloit. The strong winds are probably out ahead of even the rain area. So Whitewater, you're probably getting some strong winds. Jefferson, you've got strong winds coming through. But these are the two tornado warning areas that we're most concerned about. Central, eastern portions of Rock County, including Janesville, including Beloit, including Milton, and then the northern portions of Rock County, the southeastern portions of Dane County around Edgerton and Stoughton, about as far north as Stoughton, and then the far western portions of Jefferson County, north and west of Fort Atkinson, and just to the southwest of the city of Jefferson. Just looking at some information from the National Weather Service, they just said rotation near Evansville this time. Stoughton would be in the path of the storm within the next 10 to 15 minutes. I would say probably even faster than that in Stoughton because, again, this line of storms moving through. So this is what we're watching, that little bit of a rotation on the northern end of the line of storms where it's possible that a tornado could spin up. And let's, Julian, see right here, I-3990 at Newville. So these are cameras.
Yes,
okay. I'll tell you what, if we can call up the DOT camera, this one here, that's the Chopir Road one. Let's call up I-3990 at Newville if you have a chance. So this would be the Newville camera. This would be near the Wisconsin River. Traffic moving through. You can see the rain and the flashes of lightning, obviously. So they are just ahead of that line of storms. The rain is coming through, but the winds right now don't appear to be too strong, although it's hard to tell. There's really nothing to really measure the winds. And then the other camera we had was I-3990 at Highway 5173 near Albion. If we can, and there we go, right on cue. So again, quite a bit of lightning here. This is that line of storms. You can see the truck traffic moving very slowly there because of the fact that these strong winds are coming through. And obviously, semis would be vulnerable to at least strong straight line winds. Obviously, a tornado would be a different story. But so we're seeing that storm basically moving right through the I-3990 corridor right now. So let's come back to the maps here, if we could, please. Thank you very much, Julian. Appreciate it. And if you guys are getting any more reports, please pass them on. I'm just monitoring the National Weather Service here. Wind gust 50 miles per hour reported in Monroe as the line of storms moving through. And yeah, we're not seeing. So far, we have not seen any reports of tornado touchdowns, which is good. But again, we're at night; it's hard to see. It'd be really tough to pick out a tornado, even in strong winds and rain that are occurring around it. Let's go back to the latest radar view here. This is the very latest radar view, and again, we'll highlight those tornado warning areas. Tornado warning. This is the southern warning for Rock County, including Janesville, Beloit, and over toward Milton. That warning in effect until 8:15, and then a warning just north of that. That is for the southeastern portion of Dane County from around Stoughton over toward Edgerton, Albion, and then into the western portions of Jefferson County, just to the north and west of Fort Atkinson, southwest of Jefferson, and the northern portions of Rock County around Evansville. Again, this area here, been watching at least some rotation there. Have not had any reports of a tornado touchdown there, but if a tornado spins up, that would be the area that would be probably most likely to see a quick tornado spin up. And if we put the radar into motion, or we're going to show you future track radar just to show you how quickly these storms are moving. First we'll show you the radar loop, and this is just over the last hour. So you can see those storms in 1 hour have moved from northwestern Illinois up into Madison and Janesville. So that's how quickly they're moving through. Another hour, that takes them through Dodge County and basically out of our viewing area. So if we look at let's look at 1 hour future track radar. This is where the storms are heading. So 8:48, 9 o'clock, those storms are through Watertown. They're probably moving through Sullivan, Dousman, and into areas north and east of Lake Geneva. So the severe weather threat will end once that line of storms comes through. You can see to the west, nothing really going on. Later on tonight and early tomorrow morning, actually be cold enough that we could see some light snow. But right now, the severe weather threat is the biggest threat right now, and that is across parts of south central Wisconsin, basically between Madison and Janesville, and right along I-3990. Tornado warnings in effect until 8:15. Central and eastern portions of Rock County, and for the southeastern portion of Dane County, western portions of Jefferson County. The tornado warnings in effect until 8:15. Severe thunderstorm warnings west of there, but you can see the severe weather threat ends pretty quickly. Belleville, almost to Brooklyn, Madison, almost out of it. Verona, Mount Horeb probably out of it as well. So the severe weather threat, Fort Atkinson is still pretty high, Johnson Creek pretty high, along I-94, Watertown. You could be next in line for these storms. Janesville, the storms are rolling through right now. So this is the area that we're most concerned with. South and east of Madison, basically east of I-3990, tornado warnings in effect until 8:15. That's why we're on the air here. I know people want to get back to their programming, but we want to make sure, because these storms have had a history of producing significant tornado damage in Iowa. Latest update at 7:45 from Alliant Energy. Now almost 4,000 customers out, about 2,300 in Iowa County, 185 in Grant County, 600 plus in Lafayette County, and then the Scenic Rivers Co-op. Looks like 200 people out across their service area, most of those around Belmont, and even MG&E reporting 129 outages, the southeastern part of Fitchburg and near US 51 and Broadway on the east side of Madison. So that's as that line of storms has been coming through, but you may see additional outages that haven't been reported, at least as of yet. National Weather Service now issuing a new tornado warning. This one in effect until 8:30, and this is going to be for parts of Jefferson, Rock, and Walworth. So let's go ahead and take a look at that new warning. That warning coming up right here. Let's see. So many warnings that are on the map here, it's hard to pick them out. So this is we've got so severe thunderstorm warning to the east of Rock County, but looks like we have a new tornado warning. This is Jefferson, Rock, and Walworth. So let's take a look here. See if we can find it. In fact, what I'll do here, just to get rid of some of the clutter on the screen, this shows you what we have in effect right now. So tornado watch has been canceled west of Lone Rock and Platteville, that area out of the severe weather threat. Tornado warnings for southeastern Dane County, southwestern Jefferson County, and most of Rock County, at least the central and eastern portions, until 8:15. This new warning looks like it covers Walworth County, maybe the southwestern portion of Jefferson County, and the far northeastern portion of Rock County. So that would be this area right in here. We'll highlight that, and that will flash there. There you go. So this is the new tornado warning that's come out until 8:30. So that's for areas east of Janesville, down toward Clinton, as far north as Fort Atkinson, and then eastward into Walworth County, which does include Lake Geneva, Elkhorn. So this is the area most at risk along and ahead of that squall line of thunderstorms. These are severe thunderstorm warnings with a tornado possible. I think the severe weather threat pretty much has ended west of Highway 14, or will end very shortly. To the north and east, though, parts of Jefferson County, along I-94, and just to the north, about as far north as, St. Johnson Creek, and over towards Sullivan and Dousman, that area to the south and west under severe thunderstorm warnings. So a number of warnings that are currently in effect. So you can see just it's probably easier just to kind of show you some of that. But we also want to show you the radar with this to show you where those storms are headed next. I'm going to do a quick storm track here. This is going to be showing where the line of storms are now and where they're headed. So at about 55 to 60 miles per hour, you can see where the storms are. So right now we're at 753. They're in Edgerton right now. Milton within a couple of minutes, eventually over toward Whitewater by just before 10 after 8. Johnson Creek, 8:15. Palmyra, just before 8:20. So again, this is all that line of storms racing to the northeast. I think most of it will be out of here by about 8:30, 8:45. Severe thunderstorm warning. The other one for areas outside of the tornado warning include the rest of Jefferson County, as well as the rest of Rock County into Walworth and Waukesha County. But again, most of that area right now is under a tornado warning, and that is obviously the more serious part of the situation. But as we take off the storm track here, this is the area where we're most concerned for the very least strong straight line winds, but also the potential for a brief tornado to spin up. If we look at the wind velocity here, let's check and see if we're seeing any rotation. The fast movement, not seeing a lot of rotation. That rotation went past Evansville. Now looks like it is just south of Stoughton, this area right here. Again, in situations like this where you have fast moving storms, it is very possible for a tornado to spin up for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and then basically dissipate pretty quickly. So that area just to the southwest of Stoughton, if I'm looking at the wind velocities here, and I'm just going to what I'm doing is I'm looking at the wind rotation. I'm looking for winds that are blowing toward or away from the radar. And right now we've got winds here that are blowing. This is the radar site, National Weather Service in Sullivan. So these are winds that are blowing toward the radar. These are winds that are blowing away from the radar. A little bit of rotation here. Again, wind velocity 32 miles per hour this way, 30 miles per hour back this way. That's where we have some rotation. It's not a very strong rotation, but it has been persistent. It's moved out of Greene County. It's moved north and west of Brodhead, and now is into the southeastern portion of Dane County, right around the city of Stoughton. So again, that's an area. If you're in Stoughton, you need to be in a safe place. If the storm is not producing a tornado, that would be the area that's most likely to produce a tornado. What we're seeing now from that line of storms is it crosses 3990 and then moves into Jefferson and Rock County. This is strong straight line winds, and as you get closer to the radar, that radar beam is closer and closer to the ground because the earth curves away underneath it. So the closer you are, the more likely it is, if you see a rotation, that it's there. But we're not seeing rotation here. We're just seeing strong winds. And with the fast movement, that line of thunderstorms, And the hard rain that comes down, that just kind of drives those winds right down to near the surface. And this is actually just out ahead of the cold front. So a very good indication that these storms are probably producing some damage, probably producing straight line winds at the very minimum, but also the possibility that they could eventually produce a tornado, at least in the short term. If we look at and I'm going to take a look right here at what's called the shear track. So this shows the rotation over the last couple of hours. Not a very strong rotation, but a persistent one. As it's tracked out of northern Illinois, we've been tracking this as it moves to the west of Brodhead, and then into the northeastern portion of Greene County, over toward Evansville, and now is tracking into the southeastern portion of Dane County. I'll move the map here. So you can see this is, the rotation that we've been watching as it heads to just south of Stoughton. Not a very strong rotation, but it has been persistent. And that's what we've been watching, at least for the possibility for any kind of tornado. As far as this is our tornado debris indication. Right now, we're not seeing anything lofted into the air. If we see blue colors that are embedded in here, that would be a very strong indication that we're having debris lofted in the air. That's not the case. On the edges of the precipitation, very difficult to tell. That's just clutter that's not associated with any kind of debris being lofted in the air. But these colors that are all pretty much the same, indication that we're probably looking at rain, maybe a little bit of embedded hail, but we're not seeing any debris lifted in the air, so that is good news. A little wider radar perspective. Again, this line of storms, this is incredible, and it probably extends farther to the south. In fact, I'm just going to show you, we are at the northern edge of an intense line of storms that basically extends all the way south into parts of Tennessee, parts of Texas. So our line of storms is solid now. So the tornado threat is lessening here a little bit, but the wind potential is increasing. These supercell thunderstorms have been producing a number of tornadoes farther to the south into parts right along the Mississippi River, into parts of Tennessee and Arkansas. If you watched our News 3 Now at 5, I believe we had video of the tornado near Little Rock, Arkansas. So this is a fast moving line of storms, but at the very least, it will continue to move out. Just looking at some of the latest information from the National Weather Service, possible severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado near Stoughton, moving northeast at 55. Another possible area of rotation around Janesville, or the potential for a severe thunderstorm to produce a tornado around Janesville, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. So again, that will blow these storms through here pretty quickly. But at the same time, that means if you are in an area that has not experienced the storms, and that's basically east of Watertown now across our viewing area, this is over closer toward Milwaukee, maybe up into Dodge County. These storms are barreling in your direction. They'll probably, at the very least, produce straight line winds of 50 to 60, maybe 70 miles per hour. But the tornado threat appears to be highest along and just to the east of the I-3990 corridor. Alex Harrington here, 1 mile west of Brodhead. Reports of multiple trees down and power lines down as of 7:26, so about 30 minutes ago. So again, that would match up with what we were looking at before, the shear track here, to where the rotation, so it's possible there could have been a brief tornado touchdown as we saw that rotation move to the west of Brodhead. And now, like I say, it's tracking up into the southern and southeastern portion of Dane County around Stoughton. If we look at, let's take a look at the latest radar here. And because what we can do is we can take a look and see if there are any pockets of rotation in there. Right now, we haven't seen a lot of strong rotation, but it has been persistent, at least this area that's moved into Dane County, and now it's crossing US 51 just to the east of Stoughton, and will be eventually heading up toward, say, the County Highway N interchange and I-3990, and then that will take it over toward Cambridge right about over here. So if you're in Cambridge, anywhere up toward Lake Mills, that's an area that the tornado threat is a little bit higher there. Janesville, not seeing a lot of rotation here, maybe a little broad rotation over parts of eastern Rock County, north of Clinton. That'll be heading out of Rock County pretty quickly. But these are strong straight line winds, again, blowing toward the radar. So we're seeing those winds. They've already crossed over I-3990, probably 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, then even stronger winds. A lot of this, the radar beam just may not be able to detect the winds because it's closer to the ground. But these strong winds will be heading through Fort Atkinson, crossing over U.S. Highway 12. And Julian, see right here, we got another funnel cloud reported 6 miles northwest of Beloit at 7:58. So that is something, and just looking from the National Weather Service, yeah, so it was crossing the funnel cloud report was near Afton, crossing the Rock River at that point. So that was 7:58. So just a couple of minutes ago. And let's go back and take a look at the radar here. Julian Seawright. Yeah, that's we got that report. Anything that is on the National Weather Service chat here, I can, at least I'm getting right now, so we can get that. But that would be right around here. Afton is just to the north of Beloit. That's part of the cell now is north of I-43 over toward U.S. Highway 14, east of Janesville. So again, this is, and you can see how, in fact, National Weather Service has just updated that warning. Let's take a look at, so this is that new, the very latest tornado warning. This is for Jefferson, Rock, and Walworth counties. And they said tornado producing storms. So a possible tornado near Sharon, Wisconsin. So that is basically moving into parts of Walworth County and actually out of our viewing area. But the warning extends back into parts of Jefferson, or into parts of Rock and southern Jefferson County. So again, this is that's probably, again, this area that hasn't seen rain, the line of storms racing to the northeast. This is the area that's probably most at risk from a tornado. Farther north, it's probably more straight line winds, although we've seen that persistent area of rotation into parts of Dane County. If you guys want to just move those out of there. And another thing from Alex. So this is, so yeah, we got to, let's go to net 10 here. This is from Armand in Rui. He was out there. Okay, we'll see if we got the, just let me know when that's ready. So looks like we've got some reports of damage around Rui. So we'll have that when we're ready to go here. Again, this is, let's see, this is a new tornado warning. Okay, okay, confirmed tornado near Milton. So this, let's zoom into this area right here. If you are around Milton, you need to be in a safe area immediately, because we're now getting a report of a confirmed tornado right around Milton. So there's Milton in the middle of the map there. Let's take a look at the radar velocity here. And so that would be right about over here. Again, hard to pick out, but this is, we've got a report, and I'm just trying to see what the information is here. In fact, let me, what's nice is when I actually query the warnings, I can actually get some of the text information from the National Weather Service. So this one here, this is that warning, and it says, okay, so spotters reported a funnel cloud. So not necessarily a tornado touchdown, but the National Weather Service is asking us to consider it as an observed tornado. So again, the tornado threat is a little bit higher over the eastern and northeastern portions of Rock County, right around Milton. But again, these reports are a few minutes old, and by that time, the storms have already raced off to the north and east. So these storms are probably out of, or at least the tornado threat is probably northeast of Milton and heading over toward Whitewater. So Whitewater, Fort Atkinson, that would be the area that could be more concerned, at least as far as a possible tornado threat. And again, that goes along with what we've been saying, right along that line of storms and into areas where the temperatures have been a little bit warmer and the atmosphere is a little bit more unstable. Further to the north, looks like, so this warning here, just going to check, because when These warnings will change colors and flash at a faster rate when the conditions change, when it goes from a radar indicated tornado to a radar indicated damage to an actual observed tornado. Now, National Weather Service is saying observed tornado with this, and again, and again, this is for that warning with the tornado possible near Sharon, Wisconsin. So again, that's there. So let's, I think we've got Armand report here, or video. So this is from Rui. So yeah, some damage there. This is early. This is the southern portion of Grant County. We're going live. This is live, correct? Okay, yeah, so this is live. So you can see some of the damage that has been reported out there. I don't have any background on this, but looks like a shed or maybe a building that has been hit by, at the very least, strong winds. And this is an area that only had severe thunderstorm warning. So, you know, when people say, well, it's only a severe thunderstorm warning, that's sometimes the damage that you can get, especially from a fast-moving line of storms. So thank you very much for that video. But again, this is, all that, it's already well east of Rui and out of Grant County, and now into the far eastern portions of our viewing area, mainly from Milton down toward Clinton. That's where the tornado threat right now would be a little bit higher. Again, and I'll recenter the map here just to give you a little better perspective of where these warnings are. So right now, here's the line of storms. And you can see it extending now northeast of Madison over towards Sun Prairie, north of Lake Mills, over towards Johnson Creek, down toward Whitewater, Fort Atkinson, and then into Walworth County, just to the west of Lake Geneva. So the tornado warnings that are currently in effect include this warning here. This is a tornado warning, and it's a fairly wide one for parts of Rock County, parts of Jefferson County, and parts of Walworth County. And then the other warning, this one here, was for mainly the eastern portions of Rock County, and that's because of that report of a funnel cloud right around Milton. And that, again, these storms are now approaching Whitewater from the west and probably will be out of Rock County maybe within about the next 15 minutes. Line of storms with funnel cloud report heading through northeastern Rock County through the National Weather Service. So, this kind of goes along. These are the reports that we're getting. They've also been watching storms south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line around Harvard, Illinois, that'll be moving into Walworth County. Again, that's part of this large tornado warning area there. And then farther to the north, there also is a tornado warning that doesn't extend into parts of Dane County, and that is this warning right here. So it's been trimmed back to southeastern Dane County, western portions of Jefferson County until 8:15. This area has that rotation that basically came through Greene County, just to the east of Stoughton, and now is northeast of Stoughton. If we look at the wind velocity and see if we can still see that rotation, it would be, just right around Cambridge, just to the southwest of Cambridge. It'll be heading up to just south of Lake Mills as it crosses over I-94. But down to the south, pockets of strong winds, maybe a little bit of rotation. Stuff from Milton now approaching Whitewater, just to the south of Fort Atkinson. So right now, the severe weather threat pretty much confined to far eastern portions of Dane County, Jefferson County, and the eastern portions of Rock County. If you're in those areas, you need to be in a safe area because these storms, at the very least, are going to be producing strong straight line winds, but also could produce a brief tornado spin up. But the fast movement of these storms, again, this takes us to the current time, about 10 after 8, and these storms are now racing through the eastern portions of Dane County and over toward Fort Atkinson and Whitewater. That's where the high wind threat is greatest. If we look at the severe weather reports, just to see if we have gotten any new confirmation, at least as far as severe weather reports, looks like some coming out of Greene County right now. This report here, Broadhead reports of multiple trees down. We had that earlier. This one around Monroe. This, I believe, is the 50-mile-per-hour wind gust at the airport. And then back to the west, this is where Armand Rahman is, and you can see, if we look at some of these reports, this is the southern portion of Grant County, sign damage around Dickeyville and Potosi, 40-mile-an-hour winds. Looks like another one here, Cuba City, 60-mile-per-hour winds. So so there has been some reports of wind damage over southwestern Wisconsin. We've been very fortunate because if you widen this out, you can see a number of tornado reports across parts of Illinois, Iowa, back south and west of Cedar Rapids, over toward the Quad Cities, and they're getting reports now of possible tornadoes into parts of northern Illinois. So what's crossing over into southern Wisconsin, and that's why we're on the air, because of the tornado warning threat. And our policy is to stay on the air when we do have tornado warnings for parts of our viewing area. And right now, looks like these are the warnings. In fact, I'll just cut back Alex Harrington here with a quick update. So update on power outages, still 2,300 Iowa County, 300 in Greene, almost 500 in Lafayette County, about 80 in Rock County, and MG&E reporting about 150. That would mainly be southeastern portions of Fitchburg, around Willie Street and US 51 and Broadway, in those areas. So let's just kind of do a quick recap of the warnings that are currently in effect. And you can see right now, these are the tornado warnings. Eastern Rock County, parts of Jefferson County into Dane County, severe thunderstorm warnings about as far north as I-94, with this line of storms racing to the north and east. Tornado watch remains in effect west of there. I'm sure this will be canceled very shortly, at least over portions of, say, west of Dane County pretty quickly. Yeah, so it looks like down toward Delavan, that seems to be the area now kind of more concerned. Let's take a look down here. And yeah, that would be parts of Walworth County. Yeah, now this is where we're seeing, at the very least, pockets of very strong winds and maybe a little bit of rotation around Darien, just to the southwest of Delavan. But now this line of storms is transitioning much more into a strong straight line wind event, especially the farther north and west you go. So into parts of western Jefferson County, eastern Dane County, probably more of a strong straight line wind thing. Not seeing much more in the way of rotation. Maybe a little bit right here. That's northeast of Cambridge. That's that area that we've been watching. So that'll take it to about halfway between Lake Mills and Johnson Creek as it moves through the western portion of Jefferson County. Yeah, it's we're just not getting a lot of real-time reports right now, and that's not surprising at night because it's dark. You don't really have good visibility. The reports come in after the storms move on through, and then you have you start getting better reports and better ideas of where damage has occurred. But right now, I would be most concerned from around Jefferson, maybe as far north as Watertown and northwest as far as Marshall, but through the central portions of Jefferson County, Sullivan, Dousman over here, Palmyra, Eagle, those areas over near Waukesha County, and then down into Walworth County. Those are the areas that are probably most at risk. Maybe far western or eastern portions of Rock County, northeast of Milton, over toward Fort Atkinson, and down to just west of Whitewater. If we put the radar into motion, you can see these storms racing to the northeast at about 60 miles per hour. That will take them pretty much out of Jefferson County by about 9 o'clock. And that's kind of what our Future Track radar was showing. This is the 1 hour Future Track radar, and you can see just how quickly this is moving through. Tell you what, let me just take a look here at the radar coverage. And you know what, Julian, maybe I'm going to need to catch my breath here. Maybe if you wouldn't mind coming in and just keeping us updated here. I know I've been up here just with the radar, but Julian Seawright's going to take over here. And again, obviously you've seen the coverage, yeah. So it looks like we got a new tornado warning coming up there.
And that is just to the northwest of Jefferson as of right now.
I'll let you sneak in there real quick. I'm just going to get a quick sip of water.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and talk right about this tornado warning that has just popped up. and we are looking at it to be in effect until 8:45 p.m. This is going to be into Jefferson County, but you can see just where it is, just north of Jefferson. It's starting to move its way from Oakland, stretching its way towards Johnson Creek as of right now in Lake Mills. So if you are within this area from Lake Mills to Johnson Creek and in for Oakland, make sure that you are in a safe place immediately, as we have that tornado warning that has just spawned and is going to be in effect until about 8:45. Now, as we take a look at what we're seeing in terms of the velocity itself, let's try to see if we can see any kind of rotation with this. And yeah, there is a little bit of rotation, especially just outside of Lake Mills. You can see on to the western side of Interstate 94, just a bit of some rotation starting to move its way in, as this was a straight line and very high wind event that was moving in throughout much of the southern Wisconsin area. We can see that now our eyes are catered to the Jefferson County area as of right now, mainly north of Jefferson. But again, we are still watching for how this is going to continue to develop. But once again, this is a very serious moment. So please find a safe spot and get to your safe, sheltered spot as of right now immediately. Now, taking a quick look at what we're seeing outside of that, so we're still watching for the developments of the tornado warning just to the southeast, which would be south of Fort Atkinson, where we can see just moving its way into Walworth County as of right now. That system is continuing to push east, but again, as Gary had been mentioning for about the last 30 minutes, this is very fast-moving storms. So even still, where you have this fast-moving storm, which with the new tornado warning that has just popped out over towards Jefferson County, we're not looking for, this has been an observed tornado warning, but damaging tornado. Let's see if we can see any kind of debris that's being lofted into the air as of right now. Swapping over, we are seeing a little bit over just towards Jefferson area. You can see just right around Highway 18 and Highway 89, where we can see just a little bit of debris, not a whole lot in that area, but overall we are still watching for that area to be the emphasis of where we're going to be watching for over the next about 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so, as that tornado warning is again in effect until about 8:45. So let's go ahead and rehash what we're seeing as of right now. Going through a few as this loads up, just give me a quick moment. As we are watching for right now, again, so mainly the southeastern area is what we're watching for. So this would be Jefferson County and over towards Walworth County, which as of right now is looking at a bit of an update for the tornado warning. So let's go ahead and break down just south of Whitewater. Jefferson, Rock, and Walworth County. As of right now, we have this tornado warning, which is going to continue for about another 12 minutes. Zooming in, this is mainly south of Whitewater. You can see that cell continuing to push its way into a northeasterly track just along the area where it's pushing past Whitewater as of right now. But the back end, you can see, again, any areas to the west is pretty much over with in terms of the severe weather threat. May get a little bit of shower activity, but as of right now, we're still watching those stronger cells and storms where a possible tornado is moving through, coming into the southeast and continuing to move into the easterly direction just past Whitewater and going towards Walworth County and potentially even Waukesha County if this continues to track. Now, as we take a look at what else we're seeing, let's go ahead and move this over. So now we're done with the western side of southern Wisconsin. You can see areas that are going to be next coming from this system. So we're looking at around LaGrange, over towards Hart Prairie, Lauderdale, and even Sugar Creek. You are within that tornado warning. So again, get to your safe spot right now as this continues to move at that about southeasterly track. Palmyra is one area to just watch for as it continues to develop. But as of right now, if you're within Whitewater and you're in Lima Center, Hart Prairie, LaGrange, or if you are along anywhere of the eastern side of Highway 12, you need to take cover and find your safe spot immediately as of right now. Alex, something for me as of right now.
In Walworth County?
So we have reports in Walworth County from law enforcement of a report of a tornado with multiple buildings damaged. So as we take a look, Walworth County would be just around here where it's within that tornado warning. And it seems we got another update as well coming for us. Alex?
Let's take a cam, Lake Mills.
All right, yeah, and we'll go ahead and take a quick camera shot over towards I-94 at Wisconsin 89 and Lake Mills as of right now. If we could get a quick look at that on our camera, on our screen, we can see as of right now it's really starting to load. Starting to get a bit of some action, starting to roll its way in now. This is a northwesterly look over towards I-94 at Wisconsin 89. You can see just the sheet of rain really blanketing much of our cameras, but it's really hard to see because of that, how dark it is outside as of right now. Nighttime really does make it really difficult to be able to see any kind of disturbances out there, whether it's tornadoes or even the heavy rainfall. We are having some trouble starting to see a little bit of that camera shot, which start to pick back up again. And it's hazy, but you can see just a little bit of that sheet of rain that is continuing to move its way through, and some stronger straight line winds in that direction as well. And just one other report, as of 8:10 p.m., we have about we have a tornado in Elkhorn, Walworth County on the ground as of right now. So let's go ahead over towards Elkhorn and take a look at what we have. Checking out, yeah, we have really good rotation at this area as of right now. You can see over towards Elkhorn, again, areas in Elkhorn, south of Sugar Creek. If you're along Highway 11 or 12 southbound, make sure that you are taking cover as of right now, because there is a confirmed tornado on the ground in Walworth County. Now, this is just onto the northeastern side of Delavan, but you can see just into that area. If you are south of Highway 12 or even to the eastern side of Highway 11, those are the areas where we're really going to be emphasizing, again, that you need to take cover as we have that confirmed tornado on the ground as of right now. And you can see a bit of that rotation right into Elkhorn as well. But let's take a look quickly at if we're seeing any kind of debris lofting. A little bit of debris into the atmosphere is being indicated, especially just outside of Elkhorn and south of Sugar Creek. But along Highway 11 is really, again, where the area we're really watching for as of right now, for that debris of that tornado that has been confirmed on the ground for that area. So again, if you are within this area, which is going to be south of Sugar Creek, you need to be taking cover as of right now, but most of Walworth County is still into that tornado warning. So everywhere, for that county, your areas need to be taking cover as of right now because of that tornado threat, which is still going to be ongoing until we get into the back end, close to the 9 o'clock hour, which would be about 15 minutes out as of right now. Gary, you had something you wanted to add?
Whenever you want to switch, I've got my voice back, so had a little water, so.
No problem. Gary, I was thinking we can just go ahead and move this desk over. You can take the wall.
Yeah,
and then
that would be fine.
Let's go ahead and move this over so we can get a little bit more comfortable.
There we go. So you can move that out of there. Julian, if you want to just switch the radar over to the, let's switch it over, to the high resolution radar, and let's just keep it right over here. So we've been watching this, and I'm make sure I got my earpiece on here because that has just come disconnected. Trying to be all wired up here. So the line of storms now almost right over the Sullivan radar site. This is right on the Jefferson Waukesha County line. That's why you're not seeing as good of coverage here. The radar being covered with rain right now, that kind of blocks out the signal for storms that are farther to the northwest or to the southeast. So that's the situation that we have right here. Julian, if you want to just move the radar up toward north of Jefferson, there we go. And let's zoom out just a little bit here. So this is, we still have a tornado warning here. This is for the central and northern portions of Jefferson County from around Lake Mills over toward Johnson Creek. This is that cell that basically has tracked all the way out of Illinois, around Stoughton, around Cambridge, down here. And now if you want to go to the storm relative velocity, that way we can see here. So again, you got to go. So just drag the map up to the north here. There we go. Keep going. Yeah, right around there. So, okay, so still some very minor rotation, probably around Lake Mills right now. If there is a tornado within this area of thunderstorms, that's more likely where it'll be. But seeing the brighter greens here, indication that we're seeing some strong straight line winds from just to the east of Lake Mills, northward toward the southern portions of Dodge County, Long, and probably south of Highway 19. That's where the strongest straight line winds and the greatest potential for damage would be. So that would be the northeastern portions of Jefferson County. Farther to the west, things are settled down. If you go back to reflectivity here, one of the HR, not the 1 hour, but just the hail or no hail. Whoops, that's the, there we go. So yeah, this is the very latest. You can see these cells here that are a little bit stronger, just to the northeast of Lake Mills. But notice how these storms have already raced out of Dane County. They've already, the back edge is passing Sun Prairie right now. The back edge of the storms down toward Rockdale, Fort Atkinson. And I don't know, we may be seeing some of these warnings canceled here. If we can take a, yeah, so looks like, so this warning right here, that's the warning until 8:45 for the northern portion of Jefferson County. Go down to the south here for the one, I mean, the storms are almost out of Rock County and into Walworth County, which is really outside of our viewing area. So this warning will be canceled pretty early. So I think Julian, if we go to the north and just concentrate on an area north of Lake Mills, this would probably be the area that's still left for the possibility for a brief tornado as well as the possibility for strong straight line winds. So north of Johnson Creek, south of Watertown, that part of Jefferson County, still under a tornado warning until 8:45. These storms, again, racing to the northeast. We're going to leave it right here for a second. I'm just going to leave the high-resolution radar here because you'll see when it updates, and it updates every couple of minutes as that radar scan goes around, you'll see how the precipitation area jumps, and that's because it's moving very quickly at about 55, 60 miles per hour, maybe even a little bit faster than that. So that means that it's probably producing some strong winds out ahead of it, probably into the Watertown area right now, and maybe even into central portions of Dodge County, south and east of Beaver Dam, over toward Juneau. That area could see some strong winds, at least up to 40, maybe 50 miles per hour as this line of storms continues to head off toward the north and east. But notice the back edge of the precipitation already is cleared through most of Dane County. It's already past Sun Prairie, approaching Marshall right now. And so the good news is that this line of storms is moving through quickly. The bad news is if you're out ahead of that line of storms, again into southern Dodge County, you still may have the threat for severe weather for a little while longer, as well as the northern portion of Jefferson County, where this tornado warning remains in effect until 8:45 p.m. Hail, not much of an issue. Strong straight line winds, I think, of 50 to 60 miles per hour are a possibility, and also the possibility that a brief tornado could spin up in here. In fact, Julian, let's switch over to storm relative velocity here to see if we're seeing any more rotation. No, you're just, maybe a little bit here where it's hard to tell because the radar itself is in Sullivan and the line is almost perpendicular to the radar beam. And so what happens is the radar can measure winds toward the radar and away from the radar. It doesn't measure winds very well, perpendicular to that radar beam. So when you start getting into situations like this, the rotation looks a little bit broader because of the fact that the radar beam can't measure it all looks the same to the radar beam. So we're seeing some strong winds here, certainly straight line winds, and those will be heading up toward the Watertown area. But at least at this point, I'm not seeing any tight rotation. If there was a tight rotation, you would certainly notice it. So let's go back to reflectivity here, and let's widen it out a little bit more here so we can show basically, I want to show from Beaver Dam southward. And you see, tornado warning in effect here, and I mean, the storms are already pretty much out of that area, or at least most of that area, although some of this, again, the radar, with the storms going right over the radar, is probably masking some of what we're seeing here. But almost certainly most of the severe weather threat is coming out of Rock County, and that warning in effect until, for another minute. So this will be the only tornado warning that's left because the Rock County warning will be allowed to expire. But northern portions of Jefferson County, we'll have to see if those storms hold together as they head up toward Watertown and the northern portions of Jefferson County, maybe the far southeastern portions of Dodge County. That warning in effect until 8:45, tornado warning here. But again, have not really been seeing a lot of rotation. I think the main threat here is going to be more strong straight line winds, and as this line of storms barrels to the northeast, it probably is still producing some strong winds that will eventually be moving out of our area and over toward Milwaukee and Oconomowoc and down toward Waukesha. Julian, if you can widen out the radar view even more here. I want to show the line all the way down into parts of northern Illinois. And let's hold it right there and then put the radar loop on so that we can see because this will composite the radars and you get a better idea. So you can see, how quickly the rain and everything has moved out of Janesville, maybe a couple of light showers there. But this area of strong thunderstorms now heading up toward Watertown, and we'll probably be out of that tornado warning area pretty rapidly. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for parts of southeastern Jefferson County as well. But again, the strong straight line wind threat is probably going to be the highest farther to the north. Some strong gusty winds up toward the Dells. That'll be heading into northeastern Wisconsin, and maybe a couple of showers popping up behind the main line. But the severe weather threat pretty much now is out of Dane County, out of Rock County, Janesville, Madison. You are pretty much in the clear. And so we're just watching this last tornado warning that's in effect until 8:45. If it's canceled early, or we feel confident enough that the tornado threat is small enough that we can go back to programming, we certainly will. We appreciate you staying with us, and we're cognizant, obviously, that you're missing your programming. But we've had a number of tornado warnings. We have had some reports of damage. We have been getting reports out of Sharon, right along the Jefferson and Walworth and Rock County line, of some damage to buildings there. So again, these storms have been producing damage as they push through. We showed you Armin Rahman's video out of Rui and southern Grant County. Again, once we get a little more light tomorrow morning, we'll have a better idea of how much damage there is. But right now,
Tornado warning's been canceled.
And it looks like the tornado warning has been canceled. So at this point, we're going to turn it back to programming, and we'll stand by here. We'll break into programming if we need to. But right now, thank you for joining us, and we'll go back to regular programming. Need emergency weather alerts before conditions turn bad? Download the First Warn Weather app right now. Turn on notifications, and I'll alert you when severe weather threatens. The First Warn Weather app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now.